Hey, Mac, over here. Morning and all that. Looks like we got another only in New York case. Nice face, by the way. Getting a fight with a door jam?
It's 3 a.m. Calling this morning is like calling a maggot a butterfly.
That's why I like you, Mac. Always have a sunshiny way with words. From what we can tell, our stiff was posed to look like a passenger.
If he was sitting upright, then he was in full rigor. Narrows TOD.
Is it ever that easy? This guy was stiff because he was frozen solid.
Frozen? You're right. Only in New York. Someone really thought this out.
And the freezing means he could be months dead. And what killed him? We won't know till Hammerback thaws this guy.
And maybe we can figure out why the Iceman cometh on the D train. It's nothing. I was walking near my house yesterday and some jerk bike messenger tore by, plowed into me. Gone before I could get up. All I could do was yell after him. Should have stayed in.
Pocket hand warmer. Just wasn't meant to be.
What the?
You okay? Looks like the floor just dropped out from under you. Know this guy?
A couple of years back, knew someone who looked like him. Lost track of the guy, though. It is.
What?
Nothing. ID here. Guy's name, Justin Davis.
I'll hot sync it with command. Run Davis through the system.
Missing wristwatch. Could be motive. Homicide over a Rolex, I get. But the freezing? I'll see what I can get off this ring for the lab.
Headlines from 2 weeks ago. Guess this car hasn't been cleaned recently. Ah, looks like everybody wants a piece of the glamorous CSI lifestyle.
There's something on the sole of his shoe. Let's take it back to the lab and find out what it is.
Prelim background on the Vic, Justin Davis. And the guy's no angel. Couple of assault beefs, obviously pissed off the wrong guy. Is that name familiar? Is this the guy you knew?
Let's just get him to Sid. See if we can find out who put him on ice.
You find anything for Trace? Looks like he went down swinging. He's got a chunk of bad guy on his ring. Blood and skin. We might get an ID. His watch is gone, but why is his money clip still in his pocket? Maybe robbery wasn't the motive.
De-thawing bed'll take a while. Though frankly, with the cold stare you're giving the guy, he may never de-ice.
Cute, Doc. But you and I both know Justin Davis deserved a death like this. And I'd never say a thing like that lightly.
So what are you gonna do? If you don't put the full weight of this agency behind this investigation, you need to take yourself off the case.
Honestly, I want to catch the guy who murdered Davis and thank him.
I know you don't mean that.
What do we have?
Initial surface exam, no wounds that would cause death, but these ligature marks suggest the victim was bound tight soon before he died. Marks on the wrists are classic handcuff abrasions, and the ankles, some kind of rope. Marks on the shoulders and upper torso happened after Davis was dead, maybe strung up or dragged.
So, any guesses how he died?
Yep, but I'm going to let you guess first. Need to perform a detailed visual comparison between Davis's ID and his face and see if there's anything that'll help formulate what happened. See anything? Petechial hemorrhages in the eyes point to asphyxiation, most likely direct nose-mouth suffocation rather than strangulation, since there's a lack of visible trauma around the neck.
Thanks for the help, Doc. I'm gonna stop by the lab and see if that ring can turn up some leads. So far, we're nowhere.
Hey, Mac. Rough day?
You don't even know. What do you got for me?
Where do you want to start? Hey, we got some good skin cells off this ring. Run DNA. If we're lucky, whoever did this will be in the database. What? It says it's your DNA, Mac. That's gotta be wrong. How could your skin get embedded on the ring of the victim? Roll up your sleeve.
Why?
I need to draw a couple CCs. Check to see if your blood matches the blood on the ring. You mind?
Got nothing to hide, Lindsay.
Well, that's good to hear, Mac, because a DNA match with your banged-up face, a gal's likely to start asking questions.
Yeah, Stella? And what kind of questions might those be?
Frankly, ones that I don't really want to ever ask you, so let me ask another one instead. The bike messenger that cleaned your clock, is this him?
I don't know. I don't think so. It happened too fast, maybe. But it looks like a case of some bad cross-contamination. Now, if you don't mind, I have some leads to follow.
Mac, listen to me. I can only run cover for you for a little while before I have to hand this lab work over to people who, well, aren't afraid to ask those questions I was talking about.
Give me 24 hours. I'm heading over to Davis's place now to sort this whole thing out.
Hey, Mac. Looks like the living room is where the murder went down. No sign of forced entry or struggle anywhere else in the apartment.
Let's look around.
Regular Casanova, this guy. Won't need this anymore.
Hello. What's this?
That explains the rope burns on Davis's ankles. Looks like someone tied him up here.
Danny, look at this. I think there's something over here. An eyelash.
Nice work. It's possibly male, no mascara, and not the victim's. His eyelashes are blonde. Let's bindle it for Lindsay to run analysis. I need answers on this guy.
Can't quite reach it. Maybe if I had something to reach it with. Here we go.
We'll send that tissue to the lab, but unless our murderer had the sniffles, it's probably not gonna hit.
Let's see what made someone mad enough to tear up this note. Whoever this Doris is, she's not president of the Justin Davis fan club. It's faint, but I think I can get it. Thread ID should be a snap once we run it through the database.
Weird. Why would a tire tread be inside his bedroom?
Looks fresh. Can still see the splinters. Wonder what caused that.
Judging by the note, sounds like she'll have plenty to say. Let's head.
Yeah, I got a mountain of paperwork to process, but you kids have fun.
Don't want any.
Ma'am, I'm Detective Mac Taylor, crime scene investigation. Like to ask you a couple of questions about your neighbor, Justin Davis.
Justin? Yeah, he do something bad? Break another one of those floozies' hearts? Never the same girl twice with that guy. My living room wall shares his bedrooms, so I hear more than I want to. A few weeks back, I could hear the usual routine start up, but then it got different, and it's been quiet ever since. Like I said, the guy loves the ladies for a few minutes. Brings them home at crazy hours, but then they never stick. Probably because the guy has a temper, yells a lot. Well, I can only assume what he does to get them going, but it's 15 minutes tops before the banging and the moaning starts up. I hate it. Thought he was done after another one of his marathon nights, but a few hours later, it starts up again. His bed bumping around for a half hour or so. But it was weird, real quiet, not like the usual, that's for sure.
I know you said it was a while ago, but do you remember how long?
Not sure. At least 4 weeks, maybe 5. I know the landlord came by, knocking on his door when he missed the rent.
Well, let's say Davis was murdered the night you heard all this. Means his body was missing for a month. Where was he?
I never wish ill will on anybody, but I've slept better this past month than in all the 2 years I've lived next to the guy. You bet I wrote that, and 100 others, one for every night he kept me up with his carrying on. Yeah, that's Justin. Justin's skull ring. Wore that wherever he went. Guess he thought it made him look tough. Amazing how many girls seem to fall for it.
Thanks for your time, Miss Brown. Got an appointment with MTA to try to figure out how our murderer got a frozen body onto a moving train.
Good luck.
for meeting me.
Love to get your eyes on this. How someone dragged a frozen body onto a subway car without anyone seeing is one for the books. Is that even possible for one person to do? Believe me, Mac, we're scrambling to figure out how this could happen ourselves. Couldn't have been in one of the stations. Otherwise, we'd have it on tape, and we don't. We're guessing that whoever did this did it in one of the tunnels.
What I don't get is how you get a body in the 6th car without anybody seeing.
The 6th car? Our trains have 5 that time of night. Took the car count for granted. How the hell do you add an extra car without the proper equipment?
Should I be looking at multiple people for this murder?
Had to have help from somebody somewhere.
In that case, I need a detailed map of this train line with all the side tunnels and turnarounds.
No problem, but gotta warn you, budgets have been in the crapper since the last ballot initiative. Despite DHS mandates, our maps aren't what they should be. That's a pretty memorable ring. I'll mention it when I talk to the guys who work the stations. I'll pass the photo ID around to the guys who work the stations. Maybe they know. I was able to find some old blueprints from the files. Hopefully, you can put these parts together. See that place on the map? The subway car was housed there for repairs. Could have been the one the murderer made off with, but, and don't give me one of those looks, there's no cameras in that area. The closest one we have is, this tunnel entrance.
Show me anything you have.
Here you go. The one on the left was from the tunnel camp last night. The right one's from a week ago.
I think we found what we needed.
I see what you mean. Could be you have a witness after all.
I'm gonna look around.
You're the cop.
This is the place, all right. Detective Taylor, New York crime scene investigation. Got a name?
Name's JZ. What's it to you? I ain't got any warrants anymore. You can check on that.
Are these fancy digs yours?
Ah, go to hell. You think I have time for every top-sider who comes down here? I've had it with visitors.
Don't have time? It was funny. I was just admiring your watch. Pretty fancy.
My grandma's a generous woman. Now get lost.
Hand me the watch, or I'll have half a dozen of my guys move you into the 49th Street homeless shelter.
Fine, here. But if I don't get it back, my grandma's gonna beat you with a stick.
How come JD is engraved on the back?
Grandma's just one letter off. Give her a break.
Who else has been here?
Look, I may not have been above ground for a year or so, but I know this. Nothing's free.
You're in no position to negotiate.
Well, I still got nothing to say to you then. Yeah, maybe I've seen them. But I've never been too good with faces. Let's just say that I wish Grandma gave me the ring instead of the watch. You through? Can I go back to my business?
You're in possession of a murder victim's watch, Jay-Z. Gotta take you in, sort this out. Something happened in the tunnels last night, Jay-Z. Time to start talking, or I'm gonna think you had something to do with a man's murder.
Man, I didn't murder anyone. In the last few weeks, a woman's been poking around, scoping things. Ain't no MTA either, you know. Then last night, she offered a bunch of us wormies $20 each to push this old subway car onto the main track. I was pissed because her partner didn't lift a muscle to help. Didn't get a look at her, being dark down here and all. Just some regular lady. Long red hair, dark coat. She wore a scarf over her face. I guess she didn't like the smell. What they call me and my buds living down here on the tracks. There's about 20 of us. Took almost the whole gang to get that train car moving. I helped organize everyone, so when she gave me my $20, she threw in the watch. Yeah, some guy sitting inside the train. He could have at least offered to push. All he did was sit there and stare at us the whole time. It was Look, I tried to negotiate a bonus for that ring, but the lady wouldn't go for it. She gave me the watch instead. Yeah, that's Mr. Lazy, creepy guy. I swear the man never blinked. Can I go now?
Yeah. You helped me more than you know. Thanks.
Whatever, man.
Hey, Lindsay, what do you got?
I've been working on the evidence you found. Hey, Mac. I'm ready whenever you are. Blood analysis establishes the biochemical ID of a person. Let's start clearing some things up by looking at the blood sample I drew from you and the skin from the Vic's ring. Your DNA's on that ring. Was the sample contaminated? Time to take a look at that tissue from under the Vic's bed. Mucus is usually filled with airborne bacteria, but in some cases you can find a nice DNA sample. I can't believe this. It's your DNA. That means, Mac, you were inside Davis's apartment? Started to take a closer look at that tread mark found at the victim's apartment. Let's see if we can figure out what type it is. That's interesting. It's a wheelchair. explains the gouge on the doorway. I guess that's how they got the body out of the apartment. Let's try to examine that eyelash you collected on the victim's armchair. Segmental eyelash hair analysis is just like with the leg hair, only this is trickier. Your eyelash? What's happening here, Mac? Why is your name coming up over and over again? I thought I should run a segmental analysis to compare the hair collected from the rope with the victim's leg hair. It's a match, which probably means that whoever did this untied him after he was dead, before they froze him.
Mac, I know there's no way you could have done this, but my evidence is lining up like soldiers here. I'm in the most terrible position.
Stella, wait. Listen.
No, Mac, you need to listen to me. I don't know why, but everything you're telling me seems a little left of the truth. I ran your connection to Justin. Turns out you guys have a history, as in he was the prime suspect in your first case as a CSI. Why didn't you tell me this? You need to tell me everything.
That's right, first case, and the first perp I should have nailed. He was guilty, Stella, as all hell, but I couldn't bring him to justice. Justin Davis was accused of raping a young woman named Amanda Ross. She'd ID'd Davis from a lineup, but as you know, that's not enough without the forensics. I promised her, Stella. I promised Amanda I'd find the evidence to put that guy away. But that evidence never materialized.
But this doesn't look good, Mac. We have your skin and blood on his ring. And because of your eyelash and that tissue, you've been placed at the crime scene.
I didn't do this. You know that. I can't explain the evidence yet, but I will. Plus, why would I be this crazy? Freezing a man? Posing him on the subway?
I believe you, Mac. But the forensics are telling me a very specific story. I'm sorry, but you know I need your gun and badge.
I'm not leaving the case.
All right. But you do so against the law. But you've all...
Lindsay, I just need to understand. How did the murderer pull off such a detailed frame?
The question's really who could have pulled this off. I mean, we're talking about DNA at a crime scene, Mac. It ain't all bad news, though. Check this out. Here's a full body scan of Davis post-thaw. Compare his rate of decay to what you'd normally expect.
Decays much faster than normal.
Bingo. It's called the Dorian Gray effect. It happens with victims frozen for a long time. Once they thaw, their decomposition tries to catch up with their true time of death. That's why a frozen mammoth decays in minutes after being thawed. It's impossible to pinpoint an exact TOD, but I'd approximate it was about a month ago at least. One thing's for sure. There is no way this guy could have punched you yesterday.
A month. That's consistent with what I learned from Davis's neighbor. Anything else?
Tests on a bunch of stuff. Nothing done yet. Duck in later, when Stella's not around.
Okay. Time to find and confront one of my oldest demons, Amanda Ross. Mrs. Ross? It's been a few years. I need to talk to Amanda.
Detective Taylor, my daughter wants nothing to do with you. She's put what happened behind her. Yet every few years, you show up with new hope, some new angle, and it just triggers that awful night all over again.
Pamela, it's important.
Better be. I shouldn't, but I'll get her for you. Wait here.
Looks like it's taped shut. Bet I can get it open if I remove each piece one by one. Coffee.
Sorry about my mom. You know, I've thought a lot about what I would say if I saw you again. I used to have so much anger toward you, Detective Taylor. Why are you back here?
I'm probably the last person on Earth you and your mom wanted to see again.
She moved in with me and my husband Mark after Dad's death. Hasn't been herself since he passed away.
I know. I'm pretty angry at myself, too.
Mac, listen, it used to consume me, too. Blame, frustration, guilt. At one point, I think I actually hated you more than I hated the man who raped me. But I finally realized how crazy that was.
You need to know. I never gave up on putting Justin Davis away for what he did to you. I don't know if I ever would have nailed him. But someone...
What do you mean?
Justin Davis. He's been murdered.
I don't know what to say. What's weird is I don't know what to feel either. Yeah. Thank God I'm seeing his picture knowing he's dead. Oh God. It's all coming back. I forgot he wore that ring. How How could I have forgotten that ugly thing? Those are from my mom's bistro, a little place she opened called the Generous Poor in the meatpacking district. She's quite the coffee epicure, specializes in organic, shade-grown coffee from small farms in Brazil. So you see, I'm doing okay. Sure, I have some bad days once in a while. Who knows? Maybe this news will help.
Thanks, Amanda. I'm glad you're doing okay. It's time for me to move past it, too. I gotta get back to the lab. See you around.
Thanks, Mac.
Oh. Mac.
Don't worry, Linz. Took the service elevator through the maintenance access corridor. Stop worrying Stella's gonna come down on you like a guillotine. What's the latest?
Okay. There's a couple of things we can do.
Can we figure out what kind of coffee we're talking about?
You bet we can. Each variety of coffee has its own chemical signature. Even the way it's processed leaves an impression. I've plotted the chemical spectrum of the grounds you found. We can compare that against other popular varietals of coffee and see if anything matches ours. South American, no traces of pesticides, so it probably touts itself as organic. Does that help?
Just met my first organic roast about an hour ago. I think I'd better pay a visit to that coffee shop. Thanks, Lindsay.
Mac, you know you're not supposed to be here. Lindsay, you're not helping him, are you?
Look, it's okay. I need your help. I think I know who's behind all this.
Mac, you're through here. You need to leave.
Fine, you're right. Would you mind meeting me for a cup of coffee at least?
Okay. If it'll get you out of here, anything. Somehow, I get the feeling this is more than a cup of coffee.
Always is with us, isn't it? That's the bag of the bike messenger who hit me last night.
Are you sure?
Positive. But the guy in the wheelchair is Amanda's dad. Said he'd been sick for a while.
Looks like it's locked. I bet you can figure out how to open it. Wonder what this key goes to.
Bistro has a catering van. Think I saw it parked out back. Catering van's worth a look.
Looking in there is beyond the scope of this office, but since you're officially relieved of your badge and gun...
Don't say another word.
Get your ass out of my van, unless you have a warrant. I'm gonna have a field day with you, detective.
Don't need one with probable cause, Pamela. And we got that in spades.
Listen, lady, we are well within our jurisdiction to ask you to come downtown with us.
Fine. I'm not afraid of you people.
Gotta run this stuff at the lab first.
Sure.
Let's compare this dust to see if it's the same stuff that came from the van. Great! Looks like Pamela Ross has some explaining to do. Swabbed the cuffs and got a good sample. Let's see what the blood has to say. The noose is definitely tightening for Mrs. Ross. We need to do a digital overlay of the wheelchair tire tread. Let's hope it matches to the tread we found in Davis's apartment. I love it when forensics straitjackets a baddie. Let's see Mrs. Ross squirm out of this.
So now you think I've plotted some kind of crazy revenge, is that it? You're a piss-poor detective if you pegged me as the primary suspect. Suppose you want me to pull a couple of alibis out of my ass, huh?
Revenge is exactly what I'm thinking.
Davis was a pathetic human being that deserved what he got. Even you probably agree with that. But I have a strong moral core. There's no way I could kill someone.
Even after what he did to your daughter?
Even then, let me make this clear. I did not kill Justin Davis. I'm a 55-year-old lady detective. I could barely lift my groceries out of the car. You think I could handle a 180-pound man?
Oh, you had help. Though the people who helped you had no idea they were abetting murder. Got a witness in the subway tunnel who says a woman with red hair had the subway car pushed onto the track.
I may have the temperament, but I'm hardly a redhead, Detective Taylor.
You can walk out that door right now if you can provide proof that you were nowhere near the subway last night.
Just me and a book, unfortunately.
Thought you'd say something like that.
You smug SOB! What about you, Detective? You have a convenient alibi? No, didn't think so. Golden Skull means death, but also means gilded and untouchable. Thing is, nobody's untouchable. A lot of roasting houses have this brand. The reason? Green means more green for the till. What woman doesn't own a wig? Kept it in the van when I didn't have time to do my hair.
I have an eyewitness that'll be able to pull you out of a lineup with or without the wig.
My husband was a transit cop.
Why's Justin Davis's blood on them?
Who was watching you while you were in my van? You had access to Davis's blood. How do I know you didn't put it there?
We matched the tread of your wheelchair to the one found in Davis's apartment.
Look, I have that wheelchair in my van to move heavy coffee bags around. You can't tell me nobody else does the same thing.
You can come up with as many excuses as you want, Mrs. Ross, but I'm telling you right now, even though I couldn't make the case against Davis stick, I promise you, this one's super glue.
Let me tell you a story, Detective. The day that little scumbag walked out of the courthouse was the day I vowed to make both of you pay. I never had the guts while my husband was alive, but when he died, I tracked you both down. Stalked you both until I collected what I needed. From you, I used tissue with an eyelash. I even had one of my bike messenger buddies collect some of your face on that ring. Killing that lowlife was easy. Paid a call girl to leave the door open for me. I cuffed him, gagged his mouth, tied his legs, and happily suffocated him with a plastic bag. You know about the subway setup. My only regret, you dodged justice. Amanda may have forgiven you, but for me, forgiveness was never earned. Karma will come back to punish you, Detective Taylor, one of these days.
Nice work, Mac. I think it's time to give you these back.
My badge and gun. Thanks, Stella. We good?
Way good. Question is, are you good?
Don't know. But wouldn't mind talking about it. How about we get a cup of coffee?
As long as it's not organic.
Not a chance.